Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to the Asahi Shimbun, the Hong Kong government has proposed new subsidiary legislation that would empower the city's chief executive to determine whether specific criminal acts constitute national security offenses. Under the proposal, if the leader issues a certificate stating that an act involves national security, the court will be bound by that decision. Hong Kong Chief Executive John Lee defended the move, stating it would establish a clearer classification mechanism and reduce potential legal controversies. However, legal experts have raised concerns. Critics argue that the proposed law allows the executive branch to bypass judicial oversight, potentially weaponizing security laws against political dissent. There are fears that the chief executive's decisions, which may rely on classified intelligence, will be completely unreviewable in court, undermining the rule of law and the right to a fair trial. The government maintains that the judiciary still retains the power to determine guilt and ensure fair trials, and urges a swift legislative process to implement the changes. According to a report by NPR, Sweden is poised to implement a ban on mobile phones in schools starting in the fall for the upcoming academic year. This move represents a significant shift for the Scandinavian nation, which has long been recognized as a global leader in adopting digital classroom technology. Prompted by declining reading comprehension levels among younger students, the center-right coalition government is steering public education back toward traditional learning tools. Sweden has allocated 555 million kroner, about 59 million Nollentoises, to buy physical textbooks and teaching guides, prioritizing paper books over screen time, especially for preschool-aged children. While tech associations warn that reducing digital instruction might impact students' future readiness in a tech-driven market, proponents argue that hands-on learning improves memory and focus. Schools already implementing phone bans such as Malmö Borgarskola have seen positive results, with students reporting fewer distractions and better learning outcomes when using physical books instead of smartphones and laptops. According to a report by Thai Sounds, China's rare earth exports to Japan plunged by 80% year-on-year in March and April following Beijing's tightened export controls on dual-use items in January. This sharp decline has forced Japanese companies to scramble for alternative suppliers in Australia and India. The supply disruption has raised serious concerns within the U.S. Trump administration. Since Japan is a leading manufacturer of advanced medical diagnostics equipment, such as MRI scanners, any prolonged disruption could severely impact the U.S. economy and healthcare sector. In response, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent raised the issue with Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng in May, demanding that Beijing lift the ban to prevent damage to the global high-tech supply chain. The matter was also discussed at the G7 ministerial meeting and is set to be raised at the upcoming G7 summit in France. Thus far, Beijing has shown no signs of easing the restrictions, prompting Japanese officials to pledge continued diplomatic cooperation with the United States. According to NHK, 2 China Coast Guard vessels recently entered Japan's exclusive economic zone, EEZ, south of Yonaguni Island in Okinawa Prefecture. The Japan Coast Guard reported that while navigating these waters, the Chinese crew responded to radio calls by asserting that they were conducting routine patrols within China's jurisdiction. Japanese officials believe this is the first time Chinese Coast Guard vessels have explicitly claimed jurisdiction while inside this specific area. The presence of these ships follows a June 1 statement from the China Coast Guard, which claimed their patrol was a response to recent negotiations between Japan and the Philippines regarding the delimitation of a maritime boundary. The Chinese side alleged that these diplomatic efforts infringed upon their territorial sovereignty and maritime interests. The Japanese government has maintained that their discussions with the Philippines defined respective rights without legally binding third parties or violating international law. Tracking data indicates the vessels were present in the area from June 3rd through at least June 8th. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.